such a pain to be alone and lonely in the rain. And it
Hello everyone, my name is Maja and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is called The Funk Kitchen and we are going to be cooking some amazing vegan hearty recipes on this channel. And this is my very first video. Today we're going to be making a bread, so what better way to start things off than with some carbs. And this is a really easy recipe that I've been using many times and making many times, especially now that most of us have been at home as well, and it only takes 5 ingredients and you don't have to knead it a lot. All you have to do is kind of let time do the work and let it rest for a while. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the 5 magic ingredients are flour. I'm using a bread flour here. Any white strong flour will do. You're gonna need some yeast, you're gonna need salt, lukewarm water and a little bit of olive oil. And all you need to do is to mix these together in a bowl. And once you've got to mix that together, then we're gonna let it rest for about 12 hours. The longer the better, to be honest. I've done up to 18 hours as well. But yeah, and for the measurements, literally you can use the same mug. You can see I've got a mug of water here. All you need is 2 mugs of flour per 1 mug of water. That's really your main sort of measurements there. Use any size you have. Half a teaspoon of yeast and then some salt, good pinch. You don't want your bread to taste like nothing. And then a tablespoon of olive oil. And I should say that if you don't have strong white flour, bread flour, some sort of, you can't find it in the shops because there's nothing left in them at the moment as well. You can also just use normal all-purpose flour. I've done that most of the times I've made this bread as well. You get slightly better results with the bread flour, but all-purpose will give you a great tasting bread as well. That's the most important thing. Here it is, all covered up. I'll see you tomorrow, my love. It is the next day and my dough has been rising for 14 hours, a bit longer. And it's looking really good. Look how big that is compared to where it was yesterday. Now what we're gonna do now is that we are just gonna pull it together, put it out on a floured surface, which I'll film as well. You're just gonna put it out and you're gonna turn it in on itself 4 or 5 times and then we're gonna let it rise again before we bake it. So I'm just gonna show you what I have got going on here and how I kind of pull it together to make sure that it doesn't stick to the surface, and then we get it over into a tin as well that we're gonna bake it in. I have lightly oiled a baking tin here. This is not a bread tin. I'm sure you have something nicer than I do. If you've got one of those pans or pots that can go into the oven as well, they've got a good size as well, that would be perfect. I don't own one, so I'm just going to use a little cake tin here as well. And so I've got some flour on my countertop here, and I'm just going to tilt out the dough here using a spatula, or if you have a dough scraper or something. I'm just going to tilt it out on the surface, and it will be sticky, it will be runny, but we're going to add a little more flour as we turn it together, and then we're just going to let it rise again. So you don't have to touch it too much. We're not going to be kneading it. As you can see, this is quite sticky. There you go. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more flour, like so. There we go. And you're going to turn this in using your spatula maximum 5 times. Don't do it more than that because it starts to lose the volume as well. So I'm just going to do like this. 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's not the easiest to manage. And 5. Good. Bam. And there's my little bread. And there it is. And you're just gonna leave it here for 2 hours, like I mentioned. This time, don't be loose with the time or anything like that. You know, the first time when we let it rest, whether it's 12 hours, 10 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, doesn't really matter. You got a bit of flexibility there. But because we've just had this out and we kind of turned it in on itself, even if you do it very few times, it still loses some air. So the 2 hours that it rests now will kind of allow it to get those air bubbles in again that we want, and then make the bread taste so good. So yeah, don't skimp on the rising time here. Just leave it 2 hours and then we'll be ready to bake it. Hello. So beautiful. So it's been rising now for 2 hours, and in the meantime I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. 350? 380? Something like that. But 200 degrees Celsius is going to go in there for 40 to 50 minutes, I would say. Check it. You'll be able to see like a nice crust on top as well, so we want to make sure that we get that crunch, and then it should still stay moist in the middle as well. So I'm going to put this in now, check the time at 40 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finally done. Can I just say that it is so nice to be able to make awesome, delicious, fluffy, airy bread without having any kind of machine at home. I don't have a bread machine. I don't have a KitchenAid or anything like that. And I barely had to knead it myself. And all of these bubbles here are just made with time. And that's quite amazing. So it does take some time, but it barely takes any work for you. So that's really, really good. I think this needs nothing else apart from a good layer of butter. I'm using a vegan one, this kind. That's my favorite butter, vegan butter of all time. And that is all I wanted to show you on this very first episode of The Funk Kitchen. My name is Maja, and thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. Try the recipe out and let me know if you like it or not. And I will be posting more videos, so if you'd like to see them, you can also click subscribe. Feels really weird to say that for the very first time. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my modest afternoon snack here, and probably have this for dinner too. Bye.